57-year-old sawmiller Fatai Quadri has been remanded at the Ijebu Ode Correctional Centre till October 17th for further hearing after a viral video showed him assaulting his wife, 50-year-old Rukayat Quadri, at their residence in Illese-Ijebu. Quadri was arraigned on Monday before the Ijebu Ode Magistrate Court on multiple counts bordering on assault, domestic violence, intimidation, and breach of peace. The charge sheet detailed that he beat his wife with a stick and fist blows, inflicting bodily injuries. Police documents allege that the violence stemmed from a marital dispute linked to allegations of infidelity and the transfer of a 10-room apartment jointly built with his wife to another woman. The Ogun State Police Command confirmed that operatives of the Ijebu Division arrested Quadri shortly after the September 15th attack. Police spokesperson Omolola Oduntola said the victim is receiving medical treatment while investigations continue. Commissioner of Police Lanre Ogunlowo condemned the incident, warning that perpetrators of domestic violence would face the full weight of the law. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Oluwasina Ogungbade San described the assault as very reprehensible, affirming that the state government is determined to prosecute the case to its logical conclusion. The Commissioner for Women Affairs, Adijat Adeleye, also pledged government support for the victim and reiterated the administration's zero tolerance for gender-based violence. Magistrate P.O. Odusi adjourned the matter till October 17 for further hearing on the bail application. I mean, lots of criticism as regards this man's action. What are your thoughts on Quadri's report?
Okay, based on this, I believe when we're talking about justice in Nigeria, we should I'm not really taking it to gender-based justice as coming from the Women Affairs Division. Justice should be neutral, but a part of this constant recurrence of insurgencies like this, things like this, that this one imagination should be totally debunked from our society.
Right.
We should live in a society whereby we will have a reduced form of this menace. Now coming to play at what is on book. It is really appalling. It is fermented. We don't expect this coming this far. And this real occurrence of coming from the police is totally not good.
Now, when you look at the holistic picture of this case, this man beat up his wife, and there is actually a video showing the assault. You see him, physically inflicting actual blows on this woman. And we have had circumstances where a little slap and someone has fallen down and given up the ghost. A little blow and someone has died. We have had circumstances where men and women alike, I'm not going to say only women suffer, gender-based violence or domestic abuse in marriages. I feel that it's vice versa. Sometimes men are unable to come out to say, okay, this is, happening to me, because the society always expects men to be, you have to be a man about things, right? But women now trying to usually come out at this time to say, okay, this is what happened. Why do you think this has become on the rise? The whole idea, because people marry for love most of the time. I love you, you love me, we are married, we are raising a family, we are having children, and all of a sudden someone takes a U-turn and starts inflicting bodily harm, bodily injuries on their spouse. Why do you think it's become on the rise? This is not an isolated case.
I think we should go back to the status quo.
Okay.
The so-called modernity, in quote, and civilization has really taken us off from our hood, from our origin. In the African setting, the Nigerian setting, those days there was some level of patience coming from our families, coming from our homes. But these days it is every little thing springs up into divorce, springs up into gender violence, springs up into this. Those days in this society, I could borrow a lift from China Chibese and things fell apart, whereby Okonkwo's in his anger and raised alarm at his wife, and that did not really bring up to what to gender, but this in quote gender based. So it has given a right, it has given a major right to most women that they think that something that they should, for the sake of love. Those days our mothers may say, for the sake of the children, we should let go of all these things. Not because they cannot speak up, not because they can't pack the things and leave, not because they don't have a home, but for the sake of peace.
Right.
Peace to, and with all this, it was also going on well. And also in the society, we had the chiefs and the monarchs who were able to call some excesses to play. But
when you talk about our mothers and them managing, because certain level of abuse used to happen back then in the past, and women have come out to say they feel like they were being subjugated at that point in time. People were in a place where the dynamics of society has drastically changed, if you would agree with me, because back then women stayed at home, or some women actually, in some customs and traditions, like where I'm from, women have always, been out there and taking care of homes, right? But for certain other cultures, there are places where men usually went hunting, women stayed at home, cultivated the family, took care of children, that was basic. The fundamental of what the society was then, if you look at it now, is different. There are families and women in families right now that are either doing 50-50 with the men, or also some women are even doing 100, right? Doesn't that...
My concern is... Right. I am not applauding the assault.
Okay.
Let's say. Now,
but you said back then women were quiet and trying to maintain the peace.
Said, the peace in essence is to an extent. I'll tell you, if you're having a quarrel, it should end with our mouths. Don't raise a hand on me. I shouldn't raise that on you.
Right. I
shouldn't use a weapon on you. You shouldn't do that. So I am not saying now that is the level at which I am talking about. Okay. That the issues at home should be mad-based issues. You can hit the hell out of me, you can insult the hell out of me. Let it be since the couples, but issuing a hand, raising a hand on the other person, it is totally ungodly. It's totally uncalled for. Then maybe using a weapon, then that is out of book. So I'm really frowning at that. But the imminence of this, so it should be covered. I will also, based on what you're saying, these days some persons feel it is not only men that are the breadwinners. We have women that are breadwinners. So I'm talking to you, in Baisa, women go for fishing. Right. Then while the men, most of them sit at home to listen to play music and all that. And I'm not saying all the women, but I'm saying that it should be what? 50-50. A man should know his limits. The woman also should also know. But
look at the case of this particular man. Now the couple, they did come together, right? Yes. And decided to build a 10-room building or an apartment of some sort. And the man took it and handed over to his mistress. Right. Do you think that infidelity is something that we should come to accept as a people? Given that many people will say, as a man, you cannot eat one soup. You have to, dive into lots of soups. Do you think that the society, as it were, should be open to accepting infidelity as it comes to play? Because the story did say what caused the problem that caused this beating that everybody is frowning on is that they have, the couple as a couple, they have a 10-room apartment, and he handed this 10-room apartment to his concubine. And of course, words would have flown and hands were now raised, bringing us to Quadri being currently retained and waiting for the discussion to be brought up on 7th of October. Do you think that as a people, why has infidelity, as it were, become an acceptable practice and people expect that their spouses should just take it for what it is? Okay.
Ataria, I'm a man. I will tell you from inception, from the Bible. Right. It's written boldly in the Bible. King Solomon had how many wives? 700 concubines. And during a lift from Illese-Ijebu, he has a book entitled The Concubine. So it is not out of place for a man from the African setting. From a man, I'm not talking about from the biblical setting that they say a man, one man, one wife. I'm talking about from the African setting. For a man should adventure. I'm using the word adventure. Adventure, but the part of bringing it home and rubbing it in.
Is it okay for the wife to adventure?
No.
Why?
It is not biblical pass.
Because usually everybody gets tired of eating one soup. You would agree with me?
Otara, you're not making it a gender based.
No, I'm borrowing a coin from what you said.
No.
From, coming forward, you said that, of course, from the African setting. I mean,
no, from the African setting. Now, if you watch from the biblical perspective which I brought, they did not say the wife of King Solomon had concubines. Yes, it is written. It is written. I'm quoting the Bible, which is one of the oldest book in the world, that he had concubines, and this concubine in the 1000 BC, and he said, and the Bible also affirmed that he was the wisest man on earth. He was wise man on earth. So now this, so I'm beginning to come to think that if our society can't, because I know what is really hitting this is because they have narrowed it to what, that a one man, one wife, and that is why we're having these concubines and all that. But if we're able to balance the cliche, balance it in the sense that not your having should not be a weapon of address in the family. Should you, whatever your first action should not be now the house issue that they have about terrorists. Why lifting it up from the family? Whatever you do your first after should not affect your family.
Does that still make it okay if it doesn't affect the family directly?
Now, Otaria, making it okay. Okay, the word okay.
Yeah, but does it make it acceptable? Does it make it something we have to live with?
The word acceptable is based on the premise of the individual. Otara, if you and I we are here and we've decided to sit to have this interview,
right? It
is okay. It is acceptable by us. We can also decide, okay, to say, okay, we want to stand to have this conversation. Right. So the okay, it is based on us. So on the part that if on this arrangement now, I am standing to have this discussion, and you're sitting to have a discussion. People viewing it also will say, "Oh, it is not. It's totally what unacceptable." But we have unanimously agreed to sit to have this. So the okay is if the wife and the husband, they say, "Okay, well, as husband, I've seen that." This particular soup to you is becoming okay, you can. It is fine. I've seen where some couples will take themselves out to a joint and they will have and the husband and the wife, they are comfortable. Comfortable should not be that the man is comfortable and the wife is not, or the wife is comfortable and the man is not. It should be a collective thing, because the woman in our own part she left her family and she's very young. And so in everything you're doing, you should also think about her and also bring her to book that she is also important the way you are important. So it is a 50-50 thing that meant to come to, but it has gone this to this level. I believe the law will bring it.
Now let's quickly talk about the law before we move to our next report. How do we use people like Quadri as a scapegoat so we don't have this repeated? I mean, there was a video trending a while ago where a man was basically using, the side tool in the house where you can put your glass of water. No, there was an actual video where he was pommeling his wife using that stool, breaking it completely on her body, and the child was trying to rush to him to hold his leg, maybe 3 years old. I feel that, do you think that we have come to the point as Nigerians, as people that value society, where people like Mr. Quadri will be used as an example to act as a deterrent to other people wanting or intending to beat up their spouses, men or women alike?
No, you just said he should be used. Because I think for once I have never raised a hand on a lady. Not for any, no matter the level of anger, I walk away. For peace to I just walk away. So you go in the extra mile of your wife, and tomorrow you now say she's still your wife, and you're still no. Then it should be used. And so other men outside. I'm not talking about your religion is not important here now. What is important is that you've assaulted a human being.
Right.
So as such, he should face the law. So if there's a penalty, he should serve the penalty adequately.
Right.
And so in his after when he's out, he will learn from that, and other persons within society, his neighborhood, and the country and the nation at large will also see that it is not good for one to do. Thank God that the law did not sweep it
under the carpet. Thank you so much for your insight on that report.